Now, regional nursing homes are facing unprecedented financial distress, with more than 65% of centres operating at a loss. Leading Age Services Australia is calling on the government to inject $1.3 billion into the sector, despite recommendations from the Royal Commission. Recent bushfires have sparked fresh concerns within the industry, with several facilities severely damaged. For more tonight on this topic, the CEO of Leading Aged Care Services Australia, Sean Rooney, joins me now. Sean, thank you for joining us tonight. What are the pressures that aged care providers in rural and remote areas face compared to those in metropolitan centres?
Well, look, you know yourself that providers of aged care services in rural and regional communities are vital services in those communities. They enable and support older people in regional Australia to age in place, close to their families and friends in the communities they know and love. Equally, they are often major employers in those local towns, and also support many local businesses such as pharmacists, GPs and tradespeople and others. And we are significantly concerned with the ongoing financial pressure that many of these residential care providers are experiencing. And now we're starting to see to the point where seeing closures in some rural communities, which is in nobody's interest.
Sean, have the recent bushfires added more financial strain to regional nursing homes?
Look, it's added strain in many different ways. I mean, certainly our hearts go out to all of those individuals and communities and families affected by the bushfires. We understand that there were around 20 residential aged care facilities in different locations that were evacuated, and countless others had to enact their emergency management plans. And thankfully, we did not see any loss of life or any significant damage to facilities. But not only do our hearts go out to those people, but actually I would say our hearts swell with pride for the ability of our workforce to step up and go above and beyond to ensure the care and safety of the people that they look after, often at times forsaking their own protection of their own homes and houses to be able to stay by the sides of those people that were affected.
Now, Sean, aged care facilities are often understaffed and under-regulated. How can more government funding help improve this?
Look, it's clear from any number of inquiries and reports, and in particular the Royal Commission, that what's been going on in aged care for some time is fundamental settings such as the policy for aged care, the regulation of aged care, and indeed the funding of aged care. None of that has kept pace with the needs or the expectations of the growing numbers of older Australians. And just recently we've seen a survey, an independent financial survey, that has identified nearly 2/3 of residential care facilities operating in rural Australia are operating at a loss. Now, this comes on the back of the government's own independent chair of the Aged Care Financing Authority late last year reporting to government that he had serious concerns with regards to the financial viability of elements of the aged care system. And our own analysis of the financial performance of all 850 or so aged care operators in the country found nearly 200 of them were operating in what we would call significant financial distress. Now, all this basically tells us that the system is not funded to the level that's required. And if you look at us in an international comparison, Australia spends around 1% of our GDP on aged care. The OECD average is around 1.5%. And in fact, comparable services and systems in other countries like Australia spend around 2%. So there's something fundamentally wrong with the level of funding. And unless we address this, we're going to have more occasions of miscare, and sadly, we're going to see closures, most likely in rural communities.
Sean Rooney, thank you very much for joining us on Sky News across Australia tonight. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Peter.